Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a different type of video. Um, so for this one, I want to be able to run through some like the big teams that I'm thinking of potentially doing in this next in the NHL 22 franchise. Um, there's a few options. I'm not gonna lie. Anaheim is not one of them. I just kind of brought them up because they're alphabetically the first. First option is actually Arizona. Now, Clayton Keller is obviously going to be a key member in that. Jacob Chitrin. I don't believe Jalmerson is there anymore, but I just want to take a look at some of the options that they have here in NHL 21 before we hop into the actual roster. I don't know who all is on it exactly, but I do know a few of the players that are still going to be here. We're not going to have Phil Kessel, even though he does have high elite, which is hilarious to me. Should definitely be franchised. Clayton Keller, Jacob Chitrin, they'll both be there. Nick Schmaltz, he'll be there on a decent contract. Hopefully he grows a bit. If he's going to be, I don't actually know what his rating is in the next game, but Christian Dvorak will not be there. Christian Fischer should. I don't know that he's going to have a medium top six though still. So there's that. Connor Timmons is another big thing to me because they will have Connor Timmons thanks to the Darcy Kemper trade. Lawson Krause. I mean, it sounds weird, but he's 23 years old. He'll be 24 in that game. 78 overall. He'll probably be around that, and he'll be a young-ish power forward, which, for chemistry reasons, could be very valuable to us, especially in the first couple seasons where we don't have anybody really to play with. Keller on the top line. We could look to get like an older center sniper. Put Lawson Krause up there with Clayton Keller and hope to get some good chemistry. So that really kind of covers most of their prospects. In goal, who do they have? Oh yeah, they have Ronto. That's right. Well, I think they're still gonna have Ronto. I'm not entirely sure about that actually. Yeah, but this team is mainly built on Chitrin and Keller. Let's be real with ourselves. Clayton Keller, who's going to need to prove it next year. I mean, he had an abysmal year last year, but that's one of the options. Also, another thing, with them is going to be, they're thinking about moving. They the actual Arizona Coyotes are considering movement from what I've seen around the NHL, and we would be essentially trying to keep them in Scottsdale, which I think that's pretty cool, But hey. Maybe you guys don't, let me know what you all think in the comment section, as always. There's no way Casey Middlestat should still be medium elite. I'm sorry. And why does Kyle Okposo have medium elite? No? Okay, cool. They still do have Jack Eichel, which is weird. I hope he's on the trade block whenever we start the next game because, that would be the only realistic thing because, don't get me wrong, it would take a lot to get Jack Eichel, but to be able to know that he won't be on Buffalo is essentially the goal with that one. Dylan Cousins will be a big part if we do Buffalo. The Jeff Skinner contract, not the player, just the contract. Anders Bjork probably won't be a whole lot. Taige Thompson could be something similar to Lawson Krause. He's a top six or medium top six potential power forward who in that game is going to be 23. Hopefully. If he can be in the upper 70s, he might even be a trade target if we go with a different team. Victor Olofsson, he would be huge because 85 overall, 25 years old, and on that deal, then that he'll be 26 with 1 year left at $3 million, and probably around 85 if I had to guess. I can't remember exactly what he is. Like I said, I've seen the rosters. I have not exactly looked into them too closely. Gergenson's, he's a penalty killer. That's about it. Eakin and Gergensons are both fourth line centers. Rasmus Asplund, probably nothing. It's really just Jack Eichel, Cousins, Taige Thompson, and Olofsson for this team. For forwards wise, pardon me. Because if we look at the defense, you have Dahlin, who is going to be something. He'll be your top line guy and potentially your franchise guy. And then Yoke Harju should probably develop into something on that too. I would assume so. I think they actually lost Jake McCabe, which is unfortunate. I always liked Jake McCabe. So you'll have two pieces on defense that are worth something, but you also have Owen Power, obviously. Wow, I can't believe I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so they'll have Owen Power. They will not have Linus Ullmark. They'll have next to nobody in goal, which will be interesting. I haven't actually had to develop a goalie yet. We had Spencer Knight for the last one, so that was just that's just what happened. Chicago is another option that I was looking at. Obviously, you have the aging core of Kane and Taze, and I mean, they kind of traded away Keith, so I guess he's not here, and Seabrook for that matter. So it's mainly just these two. But you have 3 years of paying them $21 million between those two. Don't get me wrong, it's not that they're not worth it, but at 31 and 32, oof, that's tough. Dylan Strome you also have, who I think is only top 6 in the next one. Nylander, who is, again, I believe only top 6. But you will have DeBrincat, who frankly looks incredible. He would be a lot of fun. He's on a good deal. Kirby Doc is going to be really good, obviously. And he's a high potential power forward who's only 19. Oh my gosh, dude. But Kubalik, power forward? Didn't mean to do it. 34 goals. Guys, I could have sworn Kubalik would be a sniper, but hey. Khrushchev, he could develop into something, maybe a third liner. Gaudette, young fourth liner is the big thing. Andrew Shaw, we're just going to skip over him. We know that contract and that player. Nostroza, another third liner, but again, this is assuming that these guys are back. I can't remember exactly who all is back. I know Pius Suter is not. He's on the Red Wings. But yeah, so that's what they're looking like there. What on the defense? Who do they have? Seth Jones, that's right. They don't have Seabrook. They do have Zadorov, I believe. No, they don't. I'm pretty sure Zadorov signed somewhere else, but I could be wrong. They have Caleb Jones. They have Seth Jones. So they got the brothers. They're going to have Connor Murphy and Calvin DeHaan, which, I mean, Calvin DeHaan's contract is awful, but... Oh, yeah. The downside of recording at 1 a.m. You know, I need to stop saying that. Like, I say it every single video. In goal, though, they have one of my favorite players of all time, Marc-Andre Fleury. I don't know if you all remember, there was an interview back when he was on the Penguins, and he had his back to the play, and somebody shot, and he just threw his arm up there, and it hit his arm and went out. And he gave the most smart-aleck response to the reporter, because the reporter asked him, what were your thoughts when you were doing that? And he goes, my thoughts were to stop the puck, or my thoughts were to get something in the way, or something like that. And I just remember sitting there, like, 12-year-old me was like, that is awesome. But, do they have any rookie skaters? Yeah. Mitchell. I forgot about Ian Mitchell. He could be something. We're not going to do Colorado. I hate to break it to y'all, but they're going to be a dynasty, so I'd rather build my own. Who was the other teams? Nashville, that was one of them. Nashville will be interesting because Fabro will be fun to play with, Dante Fabro. Now he actually has a real face as well. Eli Tolvanen. Duchesne's contract sucks. But that'd be something we'd have to deal with. Oh, pardon me. Forsberg, solid. Is he a two-way forward? Is he... Like, I get he's solid defensively, but... I always thought he was a playmaker, but hey, I could be wrong. And I may change that depending on, whenever we get into the game, I may change that for chemistry if we do play with them, just because I don't want to have to worry about two-way forwards, because two-way forwards this game hates. I'm not sure if the next game will, but we'll find that out. Ryan Johansson, his contract is also terrible. Not as much the age, age-wise, but just 5 years. Oh, pardon me. 5 years at $8 million. He is worth maybe half that. Well, no, he'd be worth probably about $5 million. Roman Josi, amazing. His contract's probably going to run too long, as most aging players do, or most players that get paid in their prime do. But he's solid. I'm not sure. I don't feel like Granlund is on that team. I don't think so. Cody Glass would be interesting. Two-way forward again. Luke Kunin, so that'll be fun. That would be fun. Ekblad is on Ekholm, sorry, not Ekblad. Too used to being in Florida. Ekholm, he'd be fun. I mean, he's on a great contract. Colton Sissons, Okay, Colton Sissons, like, whenever he signed this deal, and I can't remember when it was. Maybe it was last year, or maybe it was the year before. I just remember looking at that and being like, you know what? That is the real life version of the contracts that I give out to my fourth liners. Oh, you're 22 and you can kill penalties and be on my fourth line. Here's $2.5 million for 8 years. And it just made me feel really good because it was like, hey, that does happen in other places. See, Felipe Myers. Not that he'll develop more than 81, but just that he's young and be solid to have. And I remember they have Saros in goal. Well, they have Pecorino in this game, but they'll have Saros in goal. So that'd be an interesting team. One of the other teams that I'm looking at, probably one of our final two options here is going to be the Ottawa Senators. And this is one of the situations, this one, Arizona and Seattle are my top two, or my top three, excuse me. Yeah, spoiler alert, Seattle was the last team that we were going to talk about. Because Seattle, it'll just be fun to be able to write your own history, to be able to make your own firsts for that team. But, and they'll be able to compete pretty quickly, which would be fun to figure out the game. But we just got done competing, so I kind of do want to start, fresh with little to nothing. But that being said, I think that Ottawa would be a really fun team because you have to deal with this Matt Murray contract, which is abysmal, to put it kindly. You go to the offense, right? You have Thomas Chabot. Solid. I like that. You have Brandstrom. Again, love that. Love Timmy Stützle. Love Tkachuk. That's great. Colin White, he is not developing very well. Dadonov, I don't believe you'll have. I could be wrong. I don't believe he'll be on that roster. Or is Stepan? I don't feel like Stepan's on that roster either. Alex Fermenton, I'm pretty sure is there. Shane Pinto is still there, I want to say. But you have it. The point is that you have this young core of guys, right? You don't really have anybody that's really stepping up to be that guy. You have Stützle is, I would say, the closest. You definitely have Stützle, who looks like he's going to be the top center, and Tkachuk, who could be your long-term power forward, which would be nice. But you have to find a sniper to pair him with. And you have tons of these guys like a Connor Brown, okay? And honestly, like Colin White as well. They're going to be decently rated. I believe both are 84, if I'm not mistaken. Decently rated two-way forwards that are, they're on the, well, Connor Brown is more, he's in his prime now. Same with Chris Tierney here. They're in their prime, so like they're not really going to be a big part of your core. But like, Colin White is young enough to be able to be part of the core. But the thing is that you have plenty of prospects here. It's about putting it all together. Because that's something that this team just really, I don't know what it is, but they can't do it. They don't want to pay Tkachuk, which I think is really stupid. This dude is like a future, I would say he could be one of the captains, in my mind anyway. If I was to give this team today, they just talk to me around and say, hey, who do you think should be captain for us? I'm saying Chabot for captain, Stützle is alternate, and Tkachuk is alternate. That's an option. The other thing, Chabot is locked up long term, which I absolutely love and I very much appreciate because that's not a terrible contract for an elite defenseman. But yeah, this team would be fun. It would be building your own roster with the current pieces available to you, but also heavily putting it all together and trying to keep the cat together. And it's just a fun young core to look at. Arizona is the other one that we had talked about, but I just want to reiterate. So this is the partially together young team. That's what Ottawa is. They're like our middle ground here, okay? And you have the extreme of having next to nothing, which is Arizona. And I think that would be a fun challenge. I'm down for it if you guys are. Just let me know which one you're leaning towards. And then we have the, make them compete, then rebuild in Seattle. Which if I do a Seattle one, it might be a really short one just because I do want to get into a long one where I rebuild the team and I'm able to control most of the roster. But Seattle is another option. They look like they can compete pretty quickly here, so that would be interesting. But yeah, those are my main three. The other teams I showed here are definitely options. Definitely options, guys. Just drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think, please. Please, guys. I'm having a tough time deciding. I would really appreciate some input. What do you guys want to see? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did make it to this point, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. See you all then.